Let's switch gears now. We're going to head to some local breaking news, and we're going to join our reporter Derek Lytle live outside the Virginia Beach courthouse. He was just in the courtroom for the hearing of Ember McSpadden, who is charged in the death of her partner. And we do want to mention, Derek, before we talk about this case, investigators said when they did investigate and initially talked to McSpadden, it looked like the shooting had been accidental. Can you break down what exactly these charges mean, what you learned today, and where the case stands now?
Yeah, hey Marta, this is a very elaborate case. It's a very emotionally heavy one. I got involved with reporting on this maybe a day after this happened. Now, Ember McSpadden was involved romantically, detectives say, with Shaen Brooks, but that partner, it wasn't a partnership. They weren't dating, more of a friends with benefits situation. They hadn't known each other for a couple months. Now, the incident that happened on Virginia Beach Boulevard is they were playing what detectives say was a game of Russian roulette, an exciting one. They say as part of their relationship, when one of the guns in the room accidentally went off, is what Ember McSpadden's side of things is, and that bullet entered through Shaen Brooks's neck, and he died on scene. Now, I talked with his mother Penny just about a day after his death. It was just something that was really emotional. He was a part of the Run Club over in Virginia Beach. They had a big tribute for him there, and she was sitting in the courtroom just a row behind me today, along with his brother and a lot of their other family. Now, something else we're learning today, I talked briefly with the lawyer for Ember McSpadden. She is actually out on bond. So appearing today, she was in the courtroom and then approached the bench. Now, a lot of her family members were also seen in the court. There's a lot to unpack with this case moving forward. And, I talked with, coming up at the noon hour, I'll bring you the interview with Penny and Hunter Brooks, the family of Shaen Brooks. It's very emotional for them. And they say without Shaen here to prove his side of the case and what actually happened, they want a conviction in this case. And, the McSpadden, her defense is that this was accidental, and, that was the defense moving forward. So a lot more to break down in this case, but from what investigators said, as well as what McSpadden's defense team said, is that this was something that, they had interest in the past, and then she had also been to a gun range a couple weeks before that. And a new detail that we're learning is that there was actually 7 weapons in the room. There was 2 pistols on the bed, including the one that had 1 cartridge case in it. It just had the one, and so what detectives had said is they were playing that game of Russian roulette, but also checking to make sure before they pulled the trigger that it wouldn't be the one. And however, they say she pulled it 3 separate times, eventually leading into the neck area of Shaen Brooks, and that's when the gun went off. So they had the forensics team testify, as well as the lead investigator on the case. That's what the prosecution brought. There was a handful of questions back and forth to get some details, and then we're learning that pretrial motions and anything like that will occur in late October. But I'll bring you more throughout the day, including that conversation with Brooks' family. But definitely a heavy emotional case here in Virginia Beach this morning.
Yeah, and you mentioned you spoke with his mom right after the incident happened. Were they in the courtroom today? Did you get a chance to get comment from them? Has anything changed? What is their general state of mind with this whole case?
Their state of mind is the same as it was the day after his death, is that they're traumatized. There was times in the courtroom where Penny, his mother, sitting right behind me, was crying and sobbing. You have to hear those details of your son called a decedent by an investigator up on the stand. It's a lot for the family to take in. So in that interview, I break down what does justice look like for them. They don't get fully into everything. Obviously, this is an active court case, and they've been advised on what they can talk about. I did ask the attorney representing Ember McSpadden as well to go on camera. She declined that offer, but is going to be sending a statement on her behalf on that side of things as well, Marta.
All right, Derek, thank you for your reporting. Truly a tragic case there in Virginia Beach. We'll have more on that at noon.